Dott, of course, fresh from his victory last night over Ronnie O'Sullivan. And Tom Ford has moved over from table 2 onto the main table for this semi-final. It's now best of 11, first to 6. And it's Graeme Dott to get us underway. These two are good friends. Tom Ford hung around last night to give Graeme a lift back to the hotel. But all that's forgotten for the next few hours. Neither player may be fancied at the start of the week, but they've, as I say, got a great opportunity here to reach a final.
Yeah, I agree. At the start of the week, this wouldn't be the semi-final probably you'd pick. But it is what it is. Big occasion. Who's going to rise to it? And who's going to fold to it?
Graeme Dott certainly didn't fold last night, did he? He was superb, finishing off against O'Sullivan, winning the last frame in one visit. Tom Ford is pretty high, though, on the list of players yet to win a ranking title who it wouldn't be a huge surprise if he did. Been knocking on the door a while. Just one final, though, to speak of, the Paul Hunter Classic 2016. It's interesting what he was saying, though, about consulting a sports psychiatrist. I think that's a good move because, as he said himself, at times he's got himself a little bit wound up in matches and just taking a different approach this year, trying to keep calm, which is so important out there.
Well, there's a start. Fabulous pot from Graeme Dott. Stars a wrap there, couldn't I? I think, you know, no disrespect, there wouldn't be many semi-finals that Graeme would play in with the fields we have now that he'd actually be the favourite, so he's got to cope with that tonight. It's a different feeling coming into the match when you're the favourite and you're expected to win. So he'll want to stamp his authority on this match as quickly as possible.
Yeah, the psychology is everything, isn't it? You think, well, he's beaten Ronnie, he can beat anybody, but as you say, he's now got his own expectations this evening after that win. And semi-finals are often edgy affairs because there's a big prize coming to get through to the showpiece final. Tom Ford was a semi-finalist at the English Open earlier this season, but lost to Dave Gilbert. Just brushed the other red there, and that's gone badly wrong.
Yes, an edgy start from Tom Ford so far. He's not played a good shot yet. Okay, it's very early on, but even as early as it is, you play 2 or 3 bad shots, it doesn't fill you with any confidence at all.
1.
Yes, and it's a different arena now. It's one table. Ford's been over on table 2 all week, not out the way, but not on the main table with all the focus on it. So he's got to adjust to that as well. The other thing is this table was reclothed overnight, and certainly early on, Neil Robertson, I think,
6.
found it a bit difficult to cope with. It was playing a lot quicker. He did it over time, get used to it. Of course, Dott was on the table last night, but maybe it's playing a bit differently this evening.
Seven.
Black completely tied up, but the pinks nicely in the open.
13.
Certainly at the moment you wouldn't call it a chance to win the frame at this visit, but chance to get a nice lead. And the more balls you pot, the
14.
more easy pots you do, it just settles you down even more. Getting your hand on the table.
It's Dott's second successive semi-final last weekend in Berlin at the German
20.
Masters. He played a great match with Judd Trump, who just about edged it 6-4, but Dott won a couple of frames on the black to really push the world champion.
$21. $27. $28.
Nice shot there. Ideal in the blue.
$33.
Well, he missed early on Dott, but was allowed second bite at the cherry.
34.
Wants to keep Ford cold as well. It's a big evening for Tom Ford. Doesn't want to give him table time early on. Keep him sat in that chair, dwelling on the mistake he made.
41.
I wonder if Graeme does beat him tonight, whether Ford will give him another lift back to the hotel this evening.
I know, what's all that about? Players giving each other's lifts back to the hotel. Didn't happen in my day.
47.
Meanwhile, he's running out of reds in the open. And he's overscrewed that by a long way.
48.
I'm not sure if the red 2 up from the black pots to the left corner. He's playing for the pink here. He does, and that was a very, very good shot.
53.
And there you see, clear path.
54.
So it's pink and one more red. But as David said, he'll want to pot as many of these balls as possible. Keep Tom in his chair. It's very important he does that.
$60. $61.
That one missed pot aside. This has been a very solid start from Graeme Dott. Makes a nice sound when he pots the ball. He likes to punch them in at pace.
67.
See Graeme float many balls in, a la Mark Williams. When he pots the balls, they stay
68.
potted.
He also gets on with it. One of the myths about Dott is that he's a slow player, but when he's scoring, he zips around the table.
7-4.
Yeah, average shot time
75.
18 seconds. That's brisk by anyone's standards.
Well,
81.
he did miss early on, but he wasn't punished for it. And he's gone on to make a very good 81 break.
81. And the free.
So first blood to Scotland's Graeme Dott. Remember, it's first to 6 to reach this World Grand Prix final. He leads Tom Ford 1-0. Graeme Dott in the first semi-final of the Coral World Grand Prix. 6 frames needed to play. Neil Robertson or Karen Wilson, of course, they will play tomorrow evening.
Don't vote to break.
They both looked a little edgy early on, but the difference is Dott got in a second time and made a very good 81 to settle himself down. Ford already not happy with that break-off, so his nerves maybe haven't settled yet.
One.
Yeah, a little bit. You'd be disappointed where the cue balls ended up. Say that. Just a bit too hard. Decent pot, but it has always had too much pace on it to land on a colour.
Graeme Dott 1.
Tom came round to have a look at the bunch of reds to see where, if there was any chance of a red going near that left corner pocket. And that's pretty near the left corner pocket. That'll do.
1.
Must have seen that. There's no raise of the hands to apologise. So picked it out well. And again, it looked unmissable, so he'd be a bit disappointed he's not got a pot on.
Don't vote 1.
I guess the issue here for Dott is there's open reds around the pack, so the danger is leaving one of them on. But different if the reds were just all still in the cluster together. They're sliding past this red.
Foul. No miss. Don't vote 4.
Very delicate shot he attempted, but he's left a chance here.
1.
Tom Ford is a very heavy scorer. He's made 5 maximums, including 2 this season. Of course, there's this bonus. If there's 20 maximums during the season, the players who made them split $1 million. But even though he's made 2, there's only actually been 2 others. Wow, and he's somehow gone through the gap.
8. Down for it, 8.
So another chance for Ford. Last visit he made just 8. Missed the pack, went through the gap, and he's missed that one. And this is not a good start for the Leicester man. And Dott will pick up on this, guaranteed. He'll sense the nerves from his opponent.
One.
But now he's left the white on the cushion. As I say, the table will be playing different to how it was yesterday, since it was reclothed when he played O'Sullivan. Although he made that good 81 in the first frame, nothing wrong with that.
Elbow. Three. Four.
He's got a nice angle on the brown. It's a big target to win to the bunch of reds, but the only problem with playing it here is you can see the 2 reds above the black. There's a chance of blocking the black up. I think he's okay.
8.
Don't think the black pot's the left corner, so still a bit of work to do with the cue ball. But pretty soon he'll want to play for that red that's closest to the left corner pocket. So there you see clearly
Nine.
pots to left corner. Otherwise, be disappointed where he's left the cue ball. This time short on the blue. Doesn't have the cue power of a Judd Trump or a Neil Robertson or Ronnie O'Sullivan, so it's not as easy for Graeme just to get loads of top spin and just take the cue ball in and out of ball playing the blue. There's pressure on this brown. Let's bring the cue ball back towards the reds. Great shot.
Yeah, and that's, of course, trademark Dott, as we said
13.
last night. That was the added factor, that his bottle in beating O'Sullivan, in knocking in balls like that.
$14.
So concern for him, he had that chance to the left middle. He'd been in before that, lost his way pretty quickly. And where the balls are, he may fear the worst already in this frame. After, of course, Dott already has made an 81 break.
21.
It just shows you the importance of
22.
getting good starts in these big matches. It's best of 11s, quite a long match, but you can't think, oh, I've missed one, it's okay, I'll pot the next one. Before you know it, you can be 2 or 3 frames behind and bang under it.
Head-to-head is
29.
4-2 Dott coming in previous matches, but they're all pretty low-key, all early rounds of tournaments. This is different. It's one
30.
table for a place in a final, where the first prize, remember, is £100,000.
$37. $38.
It's a little kick, but he's okay.
45.
White just sort of died. Deshislava Vosilova is the referee.
$46. $53.
So 4-2 ahead, these 2 reds in the middle of the table with colours will secure the second frame.
54.
So Graeme's already shown in this match that if he gets a chance, he's going to score heavily. No sign of nerves whatsoever in the man at the table.
59. 60.
Yes, and these 2 frame-winning breaks that he's made have come from Tom Ford's mistakes. That's how he's been getting in. Nicely done. If he were to win the title, Graeme Dott, it would have been 13 years since his last ranking event success. I can't remember anyone having to wait that long between winning ranking titles. First things first, get in the final. He's made a good start.
Graeme Dott. 67.
Tom Ford, he's going to play on here. He's 55 behind, though, with 43 on.
1.
Yeah, he just wants to pot some balls. He wants to get his hand on the table, try and get a bit of rhythm from somewhere. Clearing these last two reds and all the colours will give him
4.
a bit of confidence. Okay, he'll be 2-0 down, but at least he'll know that he's potted some balls. And
5.
to say, get that rhythm, get that cue action in the groove, so that if you do have an opportunity in the next frame, you're ready for it.
Yeah, after the start he's made,
10.
it makes perfect sense because there's no pressure on these. It doesn't mean anything other than just get his cue arm going.
12.
But clearly he needs to get something out of the mini session. There's 2 more frames. Certainly got to win
15.
one of them. Would love to make it 2-all, but just get on the scoreboard first things first. Highest break so far, just 15 forward.
19.
And that's, of course, this visit, which is essentially meaningless in terms of the match.
24.
So anyway, he's had a little knock,
Number 24,
but it's
Graeme
Graeme
Dott
Dott
frame.
who's in front in the match. Breaks of 81 and 67. He's looking very confident tonight, is Graeme Dott. He leads Tom Ford 2-0. Semi-final of the World Grand Prix.
Thank you.
And it's
Third
good value
frame,
for that lead. He's had
Graeme
breaks
Dott
of 81 and 67. Ford's made a few errors that have been costly. Been handing Dott the openings he's needed to make those 2 frame-winning breaks. If Ford can get in, get his hand on the table, put something together, then hopefully, from his perspective, he'll settle into this match. And make is a match. It's his 5th semi-final in a ranking event. He's only ever been in 1 final.
One.
Tom Ford is in the first time in this match. Chance to see how his scoring is. He'd love to make a nice break here, just to put a marker down in this match.
Three.
Again, psychology comes in because some of the semi-finals he played Ronnie in the UK, he played Mark Selby as well in one. You know, you feel, okay, I'm the underdog, but here, against Graeme Dott, he may sense it's more of a chance. That may have put a few early nerves on him coming into the match. But anyway, the match is underway now. He's got to try and settle into it.
Four.
Don't really need these early pressure shots, though, do you, when you're already struggling?
Yeah, so often happens when you're just not got your rhythm. You're just a bit edgy. You can't seem to buy a positional shot. Finished a bit in no man's land here. It's the kind of shot made famous by Alex Higgins you could do with here. Screwing the cue ball past the left middle pocket and then back down the table, but I don't think that's going to happen here.
Like I say, didn't need that at this stage, bearing in mind what's happened so far, to be left with
Down forward,
a shot
four.
like that. That he ultimately didn't pot.
No, he's
One.
2-0 up, and obviously he's the one that settled down. Conversely, there's a bit of pressure on this visit for Graeme Dott, because he knows he's got his opponent where he wants him, and he wants to press that point home here. So this is an important visit to the table. You know, when your opponent's down, you know, get your foot in his throat. Keep him
Seven.
down.
Eight.
He's just played a poor little positional shot there. Not got a good angle in the pink. If he wants to get close to red, he's going to have to take the cue ball in and out of bulk. He's chosen to play this little cut along the cushion
14.
from distance. And the problem with these shots, if you miss it, you tend to just leave it hanging over the pocket. Played it with an element of safety. Looking for an angle on the brown to continue this break. Blue, he does have an angle with, but the pot is tricky. But he has to take it on. Brilliant shot. Okay, he might have been playing for the red closest to the pink, but as long as he brought the cue ball down in this area, he was going to have a choice of reds to the right corner.
$21.
Well, he's really got the bit between his teeth, hasn't he? He's not, as you say, showing any mercy here. Wants to get to 4-0 at the interval. And then he's most of the way there.
Yeah, these longer matches, you can break the back of them in the first session. If he was to win this 4-0.
27.
It's not impossible, but it's a long way back for his opponent.
28. Search for.
Phil Yates, of course, reminded Graeme of all the spin-off benefits from winning this tournament. But although they're all great, they would only add pressure if you thought about them. He won't be thinking about them, I'm sure. He's just focusing on each frame as it comes. But he'd love to be in another final. I know he feels, and I agree with him, that he didn't get the full respect he deserved winning the World Championship, because the final itself wasn't maybe the best spectacle. And there was a danger as he went into his 40s that he would start to drift away, but he's had a good season.
41.
This was sort of coming, this run. As I say, he did well in Germany. And then after the win over
42.
O'Sullivan last night, he must have woke up this morning feeling really confident. Played that well, he's got this frame at his mercy.
Yeah, he's a better player now than when he won the World Championship, actually. His pace of play is
49.
more aggressive. His scoring is heavier. Well, he did a couple of years ago. I mean, you really hardly heard from Graeme at tournaments, and I thought that it was nearing the end of his career. But yeah, this season he's become a force again. Wow.
Graeme Dott 50.
Wow.
Dott 47.
That's careless. Graeme obviously wouldn't know anything about that. Obviously his shirt cuff or something has caught the red.
Well, this is a big call. The referee was right on it. Well, yeah.
That view, definitely touching.
1.
This could be a turning point.
Well, absolutely massive, potentially. But it's down to Ford to really take advantage of it.
So Graeme looks bemused in his chair, and he wouldn't know. It's like your loose
7.
cuff on your shirt, so he wouldn't feel it.
Eight.
Well, it's a lifeline he would not have been expecting. Dott didn't look like missing, but that
15.
foul has opened the door in this frame for Tom Ford.
Yeah, it was 3-0.
16.
Guaranteed. Now, choice here. You could play off 2 cushions for the reds close to his hand. You can see the red goes. The top one certainly into the same pocket. Possibly both of them. Oh, he'd love to play that one again.
23.
That's a poor shot, Tom. Not sure if the bottom one of the 2 passes the black. That's tight. Don't think it does, so disappointing end. That was a chance to land a real psychological blow, Graeme Dott.
Dott for 23.
pot and underneath the baulk cushion. Oh, what a turnaround so early in this match. Graeme Dott was cruising to a 3-0 lead.
Dott looked a certainty on 50 to make it 3-0, and then this happened.
4.
Second angle is, you can't tell. The first one, he looked like to me like he caught it, and it was a good call.
5.
Obviously the referee was even closer. Can't tell 100% looking at the replay, but as I say, she was down there. Called it immediately, and it's made a difference. It stopped Dott in his tracks. Okay, Ford didn't clear up from that, but now he's got them on his spot, on their spots.
10. $12.
And the thing is, I'm sure in Dott's mind he'll be thinking, did I really catch it with my
15.
cuff? Is it the right call?
Tom Ford will be absolutely thrilled. He's
19.
back in this match. He wasn't in it at all. And although he's 2-1 down, he will be feeling much better of the two players going into the fourth frame.
24.
Yes, it was 3-0 all day long, with the chance for 4-0.
30.
For Tom Ford, even though he didn't win it at the first time of asking, has now won his first frame of the night, so it's game on. Big moment there for that man Graeme Dott, who was firmly in control, but it's Ford who's won the third frame, so Graeme Dott now leads by 1. It's 2-1. On 50, 2-0 up.
Thank you. Frame
Just
4.
fouled a red with his cuff of his
Tom
shirt.
Ford to break.
Tom Ford eventually won the frame on the pink. It's 2-1. And he's now involved in this match. Last frame this before the interval.
The line of 3 reds to the left of the pink, the two together look a million miles away from the left corner pocket. Graeme's not even looked at them. Well, we've mentioned they're good friends, but it might not take them long to make a decision, which they have done. It's the end of this frame.
Yeah, a pretty swift re-rack. They decided that was going nowhere. A lot of the sort of old bravado is gone. No one wants to blink first and all that. But so these days they just sort of get on with it.
Yeah, it's one of the best things to happen in the game. Sort of 10, 15 years ago, maybe longer. You've been playing there for 20 minutes. Tippy-tapping around. No future in that.
No, and these good people have paid the money to come and see a match, not a stalemate. Graeme and Tom just having a little chat amongst themselves as Desislava sets them up for the second time for frame 4.
Frame 4. Tom Ford to break.
Matt Selt, who was beaten by Tom Ford in this tournament, he once had a re-wrap with Chris Wakelin in China in a match with just pink and black left on the table. A lot of effort expended there. To start again, the ball sort of got wedged in the pocket, and yeah, they re-wrapped. Well, whatever that was, it's been dealt with.
Tom Ford deliberately putting a thicker contact on the bunch there in his safety shot, just to try and open some reds up, put a bit more pressure on the safety, but he hasn't got the cue ball in the baulk cushion. Wants to take this red on to the left corner.
So he's going to need all sorts of extensions here just to get to this. Extensions on extensions. Nicely done. That's got to get everything out of the way again.
Doing a bit of DIY there. Played the best shot. Yeah, it's got an angle on the yellow, which is, looks to me, the favoured colour to take. Time to start over now for Graeme Dott. Oh dear, where's this cue ball ending up? Just stopped in time.
3. Four.
It's no good. He knew it. He turned away
9.
in disgust as soon as he'd hit the blue. Very clumsy there, I'm afraid. A lot of margin for error to get nice on a red, and this is very tough to the right middle pocket. That's a brilliant pot. That really is a brilliant pot, especially after the disappointment of playing such a bad shot previously.
Just seems a better player, Graeme, when he's annoyed, as he was then. He's got down and thought, right, I'm going to pot this then. But he's not potted that one. Amazing.
Graeme, Dott, 10.
There's no doubt that foul that he was called for has made a difference here, because he was far and away the better player in the match. Heading for 3-0. Doesn't look quite the same now.
Yeah, the signs of you being in stroke and confident is when you're in position every single shot, as Graeme was in those breaks in the first 2 frames, but in that little break there, he wasn't in control of the cue ball at all. He's just trying to get his focus back.
One.
Play up and down the table and hopefully land. We'll play for the red below the black. The red is closest to the black to the left corner. I'm sure it pots.
Seven. Eight.
It's okay. Tell by the body language. Walking round
14.
for the next shot. Don't do the same thing.
$15.
Well, I played for the pink, but he's overscrewed the cue ball by a good 4 or 5 inches, so blue looks the ball now. Be looking to play the cue ball off the cushion, bring it in amongst those 6 reds, almost as if he's playing a little cannon on the pink. Yeah, that's good.
$20.
4 out of 5 with the rest for Ford. 2 out of 3 for Dott. Point is, if Dott makes it 3-0, then Ford coming to this frame is bang under it, just to get something on the board before the interval, as it was. 2-1, chance for 2-2, a good chance now. He's been able to just settle into things, and obviously he knows that Dott will be really annoyed at what happened. So it wasn't a pot or a fluke or a great safety or a snooker or anything that affected this match, other than Graeme Dott grazing a red
28.
with the cuff of his shirt. That's what's turned it all round.
$35. 36.
See, now it's Tom Ford. It's down to 18 seconds a shot. Both players, when they're in, they don't waste any time.
43. Four.
A little cannon on the red next to the pink. And he's going to drop in behind it.
$51.
Very simple,
52.
economical technique. Tom Ford basically just gets down, points the tip at the cue ball, draws the cue back and delivers. Not really much can go wrong, you would think.
58.
Well, something's got to go wrong in the next two shots, otherwise it's 2-2. And
59.
what a result for him. He'll feel like he's in front because he looked very edgy early on. But as we keep saying, the same thing, that foul that Dott was called for. Big moment. Biggest moment of the match so far. Two snookers needed. So Graeme Dott may
66.
come back if Ford doesn't just drop this red in along the side cushion. And he's not done, so
Down 4.
two snookers. Graeme
66.
Dott, he's going to play on, but good 66 that from Ford, his highest break of the night. He's in pole position in frame 4.
One. Eight. Nine.
Well, we saw Dott's fellow Glaswegian John Higgins putting Karen
16.
Wilson through all sorts of pain playing for those snookers in their match. He got a couple that he needed and he laid quite a few others as well. Can Dott do the same here to Tom Ford? Well, that
Graeme
is a
Dott,
snooker.
16.
Same thing applies though in that match. Mustn't leave a free ball because Dott does need 2 at the moment, but obviously with the free ball he could still win the frame. Oh, he's at the blue, so he can tie now. That is incredible.
Graeme Dott,
35
5.
behind, 35 on. Well, we've seen one big moment. We might have seen another one there.
I've just seen the massive importance now in the game of snooker where when you pot the ball to win the frame, pot the next one as well. I was just about to say a massive reprieve, but this is horrible cueing. Well, I think Tom shouldn't overthink this. The safety shot is just as difficult as a pot. Just try and pot the red and end this frame. Don't try and be too clever. Don't blame him at all for going for that. The safety shot was just as awkward.
So Dott needs red black and the 6 colours to force a respot. First things first, get on the black. The blue's a little awkward, but as I say, first thing, get on this black. And he's on it.
1.
Well, it might not have been the two players that many people expected in the first semi-final, but it's been one of the most entertaining matches of this tournament.
8.
Brilliant to watch so far. I don't know what's going to happen next.
This was the attempted pot, which got very close, but because he got close, he left it in the jaws.
10.
So brown to blue looking like the key shot for Dott now.
Straight is no good. Where the blue is, you want to get as close to it as possible. Just off straight. But very difficult to get that cue ball closer to the blue. Big shot. Biggest shot of the match so far.
Graeme Dott 17.
Yeah, it's green to brown that did him in. Left himself straight on the brown, left himself this blue. Tom Ford has this blue, and after all that, it should be 2 each. Relief for him. What an eventful start. Just an hour's playing time, a lot happening. Tom Ford has got to be the happier of the two, you feel. He's 2-0 down, going 3-0 down. Graeme Dott call for the foul.
Ford 11.
Ford knows he could have lost that frame after hitting the blue, trying to escape the snooker, but he's won it. So it's honours even in the first semi-final of the World Grand Prix. Graeme Dott and Tom Ford level at 2-2.
This is what they call
Frame 5. Graeme Dott to break.
intriguingly poised. Just heard the discussion there in the studio, Neil. Yourself, Jill and Alan, and I think you hit the nail on the head. Graeme Dott will be feeling as though he's wasted a really good opportunity to, if not build a certain winning lead, a very healthy one.
Yes, but maybe the 15 minutes or so mid-session break has given him a chance to regroup. I guess he's been in 3 world finals, he's been a world champion. Now, if you get through the 17 days, you're going to get a few downs as well as all the ups. So I'll put it behind him. He's got the experience, he's got the temperament, and he's playing well. This is the most important aspect of all this.
Tom Ford has been undertaking some work with a mind coach by the name of Sabrina Francis. And the big thing that she tells him is try and forget what's happened in the frames before. I think that's good advice for Dott at the moment, because he must have been really aggrieved about that foul shot when he was flowing and in the groove.
Now that's interesting. The red that he's played has moved the other two. May not have been potable previously. To see, well, they definitely were not potable, but the red just flicks one of them, and I think surely Graeme has got a red now available, at least one to that right corner.
1.
Regardless of the result, Neil, I think it's fair to say we haven't seen Graeme Dott play as well as this for many a year.
8. Nine.
Seemed to deaden off the first cushion. Look on the bright side, Graeme. At least it's not your turn next when you lay the snooker.
Yeah, it is second prize, as we always say, but, you know, yes, you've got to try and cut off as many routes from the side into the bunch as you can on the shot. Having said that, Phil, no snooker. No, he's playing very positive stuff. Maybe he should have played the snooker.
Graeme Dott 9.
Hit it straight on, didn't he? There was a very slight angle on that, but he hit it absolutely dead straight, that brown.
Very nice indeed.
Always going to be unlucky. The strange thing is he didn't particularly go into the bunch with any venom here. And he hit the pink half ball. And the only red that came out on the left side went into the pocket. It's only when you think that there's more chance of that happening when the reds are going from all angles.
Second time in as many evenings that Dott has benefited from that kind of disappointment befalling his opponents. Of course, last night, Ronnie O'Sullivan from 3-1 down made it 3-3 very quickly. He was flowing, he was looking good. He went into the bunch in potting a blue, just as Ford did there, knocked in a red. And Dott went on to win 5-3.
Five. Six.
Yes, he'd like to get the black on his spot. High value colours at the same end as the reds is always handy. It's a question of can he pot it and get on a red though. There's a bit of an angle on this, and but he's not. You know, as Stephen Hendry said earlier on, he's right. Graeme hasn't got the cue power of, well, quite a lot of the other leading players on the tour. Relies on his timing to be right. Doesn't naturally have cue power, but to get from the black up to the reds here will take some doing. So he's playing the green instead. shots would go up on the black spot. Problem with that is, of course, you can take 6 or 7 reds and greens and you've got nowhere with the scoring. You know, you look at the scoreboard and it's only a few in front still,
9.
which we've all done.
Ten.
That's a good shot. He's on a red. He might even be able to get his cue through the gap to not be bridging over a ball for this one.
13.
Just possibly. Yeah. In through the gap.
Fourteen.
He'll be a little disappointed to have finished short on the blue. Means he can't get near a red unless he comes all around the table. There it is. It's that angle that means you've really got to give this the full treatment to come all around the angles for a red. Oh, and he's just to go. Goodness me, has he snookered himself? Where is the blue going to go? It's going somewhere that's not nice. If it doesn't spot, it has to go in that light anyway. And that underlines the point, Phil, doesn't it? He doesn't have the cue power so easily to get all the way round off that shot from the blue to the reds.
Breaking news, Desislava
19.
is off Graeme Dott's Christmas card list.
Graeme Dott 19.
That was actually quite fiddly. Did well to leave nothing. Stoically took that bad roll. I suppose, though, thinking about it logically, it was a bad roll for Ford that got Dott to the table in the first place. We can't overstate what a big night this is for both of them. If Ford were to come through, he would guarantee, merely by reaching the final, his biggest ever payday. He turned professional 20 years ago. Largest cheque at the moment, the £35,000 he received as semi-finalist in the UK Championship in 2018. By getting to the final here, he'd be on a minimum of £40,000. Pretty good shot.
Little flick on the red hit did him no harm. Now, no more mishaps from Graeme Dott here. If he's going to win this match, he doesn't want to fall behind because he's done most of the playing in this match.
5. Six.
Dott, no nonsense. Toughest teak competitor.
12.
Terrific attitude. Wanted badly.
Yeah, point I made about him taking reds and greens. It's not really about how many he scores now, it's about how many reds he can shift from the table.
15.
And eventually there will be too many points in it. So red, if he takes something higher than the green, which he probably will here, that'll be enough. But the 2 reds will definitely win the frame. Graeme.
16. Black ball.
Playing the black this time. Heard him nominate there because we have to do that when there could be some doubt as to which colour he was taking there. They were so close together, so that's why he nominated.
23. $24.
I guess this just puts the memory of frame 3 and to a certain extent frame 4 out of his mind. You know, he's back
31.
in front and continues to be
32.
queuing very nicely.
And I think this match, the way he's played all season, in fact,
37.
makes those who say he's a slow player seem as though they're talking
38.
a load of old rubbish, because he's not slow.
$45. $47.
The blue proving a hindrance again. But this time, it doesn't matter
Graeme
in the
Dott,
slightest.
47. Dott 47. Graeme Dott frame.
Helped by that break of 47, Graeme Dott regains the lead. It's a slender one at 3-4 with Scotland's Graeme Dott. And that, Neil, wasn't the best of break-offs.
No, the cue ball didn't really get in behind the bulk colours as planned. Oh, Graeme knew straight away he's on the walk, having hit the balls there. He knew that the cue ball was heading into a dangerous part of the table. And didn't get all that close to the pot either.
One.
Well, whatever you're thinking for going to the bunch here from the pink, am I going to knock a red in? Because that's what happened in the previous frame. Well, you don't want to knock a red in playing it that shot, and it was delightfully held for a red, but he had a long look at the bunch of reds there as if he thought something might be a foot. Might be knocking something in. The other thing he might have been looking at is where the pink goes. I'm not sure if it will find its way onto its own spot or below it somewhere. This is Slava Boschel over the referee, just trying to put it in line underneath the bunch of reds. That's the only place it can go. It has to go somewhere, and those spots are available.
13. $14.
Very well played. Really good shot, that. So I mentioned with Tom
19.
Ford, he doesn't half get through the ball well. His cue goes right through the ball there to the point where it comes off his bridge hand. I mean, he generates a lot of cue power, and yeah, he's a very, very good ball striker. They always say you watch somewhere, not someone hitting the ball, but where their cue ends up. Having hit the ball, does it get through fairly good distance after you've hit it? And his does.
I think to the wider general public, he's perhaps the least known of the game's premier break builders. Let's face it, he's made 5 1-4-7s.
Oh, he can play all right. There's no doubt about that. I think he admits that he's been getting a little bit of help with the mental side of it all to make him a stronger player mentally, and which tells you that he's felt that might have been his downfall, and I think that's fair enough. Does the pink go? Wow, there's not much of a gap there. I think it might do. Yeah. He's done well to notice that through all those reds.
24.
Graeme would have been interested in that, because Tom Ford was stopped in his tracks there. It flies through that gap.
When he was coming through the junior ranks many years ago now at the Willie Thorne Snooker Centre in his hometown of Leicester, he was considered just as much of a prospect, maybe even more so, than a certain Mark Selby, who's his contemporary and who was his club mate. Their professional careers have been somewhat different, but everyone who knows the game knows that Ford's got bags of potential and bags of ability.
$36. $37.
Just wanted more of a spring off that side cushion. Tell you what, he's using that right-hand jaw of that particular pocket. First a red flopped in and now the pink.
43. 44.
Had to play delicately and came close to overcutting it.
$50. 51. 57.
'Again, beautiful little shot through the
58.
gap. It's turning into a very good match, this, because it really is a big one for both players. A big ranking event final with the prospect of cementing a place in the next two legs of the Coles
64.
series. The players' ranking could absolutely fly from here. All the things that go with it.
65.
It's a huge game for these two, and they're playing well.
Well, this frame's in the locker. You're right, Neil. At the moment, as it stands, the very latest points, Ford is
71.
tied 17th on the one-year list. If he were to win tonight, he'd climb to 15th. And that
72.
Players' Championship at Southport at the end of the month would begin to beckon.
Yes, and of course, if you go on and winner of this match wins the whole thing, beats the winner of tomorrow night's semi-final on Sunday.
78.
Champion of Champions, Tour Championship, it's all there, isn't it? You mentioned it in your interview. with
79.
Graeme, but it's in the back of their minds, clearly, but they're playing as if it's not really a thought, just enjoying being out there. It's another player that goes to the bottom of the cue ball. Tom Ford, even when he plays little run-through shots.
85. 86.
That red has been next to the black all frame.
It's a great effort to move it. Oh, great shot. He's unlucky. He may just have a little edge of the red, but it's a
91.
delightful cannon.
What a shame. Deserved a century. A really well-crafted break. And with his run of 91, Tom Ford is back on level terms. You know, our viewers here on ITV are eagle-eyed. They noticed this potential foul here. It moved. There's no doubt about it. The red in frame 6.
Thank you. Frame 7. Graeme Dott.
But it
break.
wasn't called. And the frame went to Tom Ford. How about that? We did not see it at the time, Neil.
No, absolutely not. No. But there was definitely some movement which could not have been anything but, I guess, his cue hitting it. Anyway, we move on. No one saw it. We just have to get on with the game, don't we?
1.
Now, if he plays pink to middle, the two reds to the right, roll through. I don't know whether the black goes to the left corner. I think it might well do. Just thinking 2 or 3 shots ahead, could be in here. This has got to go in first. Yeah, well, the black will certainly pass, so you can see how his mind is working already. I'll play a little run through, get the black into play.
7.
And he could be off again here.
Eight. $15.
Betwixt and between, too hard for the one. Too hard for another one. The red goes to middle, but there's no value in taking it on.
Graeme Dott, 15.
And at least the break ends with a very good safety.
Yeah, but he'll be disappointed certainly not to have capitalised on that in the way that he has been all week. This is woefully short of pace,
Graeme Dott, 4.
to the point where he hasn't covered the reds at all. It's a big misjudgment there from Tom.
One. Four.
Wow, that red through the gap. Wow, that goes. It seems to. I was surprised. I should think he played on the red to the right of the pink, which also goes. And does that go? Does he have to put a little trace of left-hand side just to whip the angle a bit to the left as we look? Just a trace. Ooh,
Oh.
pink first. Goodness
No
me.
miss. Graeme Dott,
Oh,
4.
misses in irrelevance, but
Tom Ford, 6.
we knew how tight it was because we had the best view in the house. He just grazed the pink on the way through. Goodness me, this is getting nervy, isn't it, out there? It's only 3 all.
It was one of those shots. I was convinced he was going to do that.
1. Yeah.
I just think that for him, he thought, well, look, for Graeme, if this goes in, I'm on the black, he's all there for me. Prepared to take the risk, but he probably needed a little bit more left-hand side and just making sure he missed the pink. You see those shots played perfectly most of the time. There was the downside.
You're right, it is nervy and therefore dramatic. All created, of course, by the stakes they're playing for.
8. Nine.
Well, the slow trudge around the table makes me think he might have gone a
16.
little bit too far. He certainly thinks he has. There was a gap between the pink and black he had to land in to be able to pot that red. I'm afraid he's gone too far on it. Only by a small amount.
Foul. Lemons.
Wow, if this goes 5
Dott
all,
forward 16.
at the moment we're 3 all.
Graeme Dott 4.
Can you imagine how nervous they're going to be out there, because there's a few errors creeping in already, and very surprising ones, Phil. He's trying to hit them thin, but he missed them altogether.
I think we can already say,
Free ball.
without fear or favour, it's been an eventful match. And now it's a free ball.
Yeah, it's one of those difficult free balls where you're looking at a red that's in amongst them. Got to be able to hit an edge of both sides of a red. The free ball has been called, so this counts as a red, this colour that he takes. This counts as 1 point, onto a colour. From nowhere, Graeme Dott has got an opportunity here.
1. Three.
Quite a big target, the bunch of reds there, but him, the pink only. I think he's all right.
Four.
Well, the bottom red in the bunch goes,
6.
which will in turn free up the other one that's sticking out. On the left of the bunch might already be on.
Graeme Dott 6.
Continuation of a few errors now starting to creep in the games of both players. It's not a bad safety shot. He certainly covered one side of the table. If Graeme is playing safety shot here, he's got to play it with a little bit of right-hand side, I think. Yep. A weak one.
Yes, if the red had caught the black full ball, there wouldn't have been much damage, but it just flicked off the black. On.
One. Yep.
Thought
Four.
that was a somewhat dead reaction off the green. It wasn't one of those obvious kicks. The potting angle certainly wasn't affected. And the cue ball travelled a reasonable amount, but Ford felt it wasn't quite the sweet contact he should have had.
Five.
Well, he hit that one very well, just to finish the right side of the blue. Certainly feel that if Tom Ford won this frame and he got to the front, and at one point he was looking like going 3-0 down, but for that foul that was just a sleeve hitting the ball, touching the ball, to be in front would feel a psychological boost for him, a real big boost as well.
Eleven.
3-3. 33-33. Sound like a bingo caller.
$17.
You can just imagine the tension increasing in the Q arm of both players.
$18. $24. $25.
Well, nice angle once again. Forward on the black, up for another red. The question of, does he want to land on the bottom one here or just go into them? Plays with control, so he lands on that bottom red with a view to just nudging others out and being on a colour in this way.
32. $33.
Not the most favourable angle on the black, should he play it. It's that awkward angle where you're just off straight, the cue ball top side. It's sometimes the most difficult angle to work with. Well, they couldn't have played it any better. Beautiful shot up for the red.
40. $41.
So here we are at frame ball.
48.
Something about the players from Leicester, they've always got beautiful cue ball control.
49.
Willie Thorne was the first to, from that part of the world, with tremendous cue ball control. Yeah, you've got your Mark Selby. Ben Willison's another one. He's not a top-ranked player these days, but he can still make breaks.
54.
Tom Ford is probably the most underrated of break builders that we've got. You get certain players who just pop balls and they're never in position, but he's not
55.
one of those. Plays the game in the classical way.
He made a remarkable 147 on one occasion up at the Grand Prix in
62.
Aberdeen. He was actually in hospital on the day of the match.
64.
had some kind of nasty virus, but he insisted on playing the match, checked himself out, and made a maximum.
67. $71. $76. $82.
Good stuff indeed. He was 2-0 and 3-2 behind was Tom Ford. Now though, for the first time, hour and 3/4, getting on with it, playing some fluent stuff. And we've seen plenty of incident as well. All in all, a really good and interesting match, Neil Folt.
Yeah, that's right. Tom Ford showing us his break building and prowess in that department. Interesting, you mentioned a few minutes ago that 147 he made up in Aberdeen. He checked himself out of the hospital that morning. I make it, unless I'm wrong, the only 147 break ever made against Steve Davis. And that's saying something. You think of all the frames of snooker that Steve played in his long, illustrious career. The only person ever to make a 147 against him was Tom Ford.
Thank you, frame 8. Tom Ford to break.
I think everyone would love to see another 147 break here, barring Neil Robertson, who's in line for the £10,000 size break bonus.
Yes, things have changed in this match, haven't they? 91 break, 89 break. Has now finally got Ford to the front. Very entertaining match, though. Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty more to come. Some twists and turns here, I think. You just get the feeling, anyhow. Well, I think you believe that was in running.
Also close. And also indicative of the positive mindset that Dott's had for a number of seasons now. Certainly in terms of shot selection. Anyone who thinks he's a nutritional grinder, barking up the wrong tree.
One.
Oh, nicely rated. Right, straight on the black.
Eight.
frames are zipping by, aren't they? Under 15 minutes a frame so far.
9. Fourteen. 15.
Oh, you can see the angle is there. He could potentially stun up into the bunch if he wanted to. He's got that loose red he could play on as well. He's got a particularly wide angle on this black to get enough pace generated on the cue ball to really split them. And I think Graeme needs that really. As I said, he's not blessed with huge amounts of cue power.
22. 23.
Now what? Might be coming around with a couple of cushions into the bunch here. They've come very close to the corner pocket though to do it. Played it well. And just slid off the bunch. Wasn't a very big target coming in
20.
from that 2 cushion angle into the reds. Hard to predict the cue ball would have finished it up in the jaws of the top left pocket though.
Yes, half a ball thicker on the pack, and he could have been well and truly in.
Round up
Clever
20.
shot because he's pushed the red back up the table. It means Tom hasn't got the glancing off the bunch escape back into bulk, or it'll be a risky shot with the red down there. Looks like he's going to try and get the cue ball back where it was under the black spot. Well, there's a red, it's fairly straight to the right middle. There it is. Now, Tom might think it's worth having a dart at this. Cue ball somewhere over on that side of the table near the middle pocket. If it goes in, all the better. If it misses it, he may not leave anything easy. Well, he got very close to it. The double kiss was not anywhere in his thoughts.
One.
Still comparatively early in the frame, but this is a frame-winning chance. No ifs, buts or maybes.
8. 9. 16. 17.
I think it's the kind of frame that Graeme needed, just a frame where potentially, and he's
24.
not there yet, you know, he could win it without any real fuss. Still going to finish the job off.
$25.
Desperately trying to reach what would be his 10th world ranking event final. First since the 2018 shootout, almost exactly 2 years ago.
A real silence in here. In the centre here at Cheltenham, people engrossed in this match. It's been an entertaining one, and it's, you can kind of sense there's tension in the air.
$32. 33.
Ford erred to that middle pocket. No mistake from Dott.
Oh, red in any colour, and that's all square at 4-all.
38. 39.
'This extra red, Neil, to make
42.
absolutely sure.
43. 48. 49.
'Dott's fourth
54.
half-century of the match. A contest that's produced 7 in total.
55.
93% Dott success rate through 8 frames.
62.
That's top-notch.
63.
'Well, in behind the red was the only way he wasn't going to cat it out. And for him
70.
to go on and make a century here, this is now a difficult one. It doesn't matter that much. Nice to see him make a century break. Unlucky. Never mind. A big
Graeme
break
Dott,
there.
70.
Significant
Under
one,
pressure.
Phil.
It is indeed, and again, after 2-2 and 3-3, it's all tied up. Now, it's 4-4. Effectively, to the best of three. Tom Ford re-entering the arena
Thank you.
for a passage of play that's arguably the most important
Frame 9.
of his
Graeme
life.
Dott to break. Keep quiet, please.
Neil and I have got a mutual friend over in Ireland called Michael McMullen, who's unsurpassed when it comes to statistical knowledge, and he gave me a ring this evening earlier on and imparted a very interesting statistic. Jimmy White holds the record for the largest amount of time between ranking titles. Michael got it down to the number of days. 11 years, 134 days. He broke that drought at the 2004 Players' Championship. If Graeme Dott were to lift the trophy here on Sunday, between ranking titles for him, it would be 12 years, 314 days. He would be a new record holder.
Here's one of them safety shots there that Graeme felt he couldn't do a great deal with, just putting the cue ball into a corner. That's nice. That is a good safety shot from Graeme Dott. Tom Ford taps the table. Standard of safety, I think, in the game these days really is high. No other option for Tom Ford but just a containing safety shot back. Not many options here for Tom. The red up the table he's looking at, and he can't really comfortably play anything else. He might just be pushing it towards that left middle or beyond it. Options there were pretty thin on the ground. just a terrific pot, and it was at the end of a little safety duel that Graeme Dott won. So he created the chance and knocked in a good red to the early inroads.
Given his diminutive stature, you would expect Graeme Dott to be good with the rest, and 9 out of 10 pots have been completed this evening. That's 10 out of 11, but with no great position attached.
Now, I don't think he meant to hit the red that he went into, the first red he hit. Might have been trying to get into the heart of the bunch.
8.
Red to the middle now is quite a narrow angle. Middle pockets have been playing tough this week. That was always too high. That was never going to drop down from the nap.
Graeme Dott 8.
Often they pull into the near jaw in both middle pockets, but not this time. That's the ready hit. I don't think that was the one he meant to. And this was always top side.
Every single frame so far, Neil, has been over quickly. We've seen decisive breaks, fluent snooker. You get the impression sooner or later we're going to have a dogfight. But maybe not in this frame. After that,
It was the pace he played out, which was quite impressive. He just trickled into the middle pocket. Now, what's he going to do? Can he get the advantage back? He did lead for the first time at 4-3. Pegged back to 4-all.
Eight. Nine. Eleven.
that wasn't a miss, Neil. That was a malfunction.
That's a massive deceleration, which I guess sometimes can happen with Tom. In other words, he just stops hitting. The cue ball is, the cue is going as slowly as you like. He's on the slow down as he hits the ball, and you overcut them. That came from nowhere, but I guess we are getting a little nervy. Can be wrong about things, but this looks to me like a match that could go all the way to a decider. It's got that feel about it, hasn't it?
as Dott exhibited last night in finishing off Ronnie O'Sullivan with a
4.
91 break. It was really well put together, as he's demonstrated throughout his career. He's got bottle. You don't win at the Crucible and lift the trophy there without having that priceless commodity.
Five.
That was nicely played. He's not got an easy red,
12.
but he went into them nicely. Got a good cannon on the middle red. I mentioned that Graeme isn't as tall as other players on the tour, so just even shots like this, getting over the top of them is quite difficult. Definitely not comfortable on this. Think of a shot last night that Ronnie O'Sullivan played, which he could have put Graeme back in with the spider. He might have had difficulty with it. Ronnie got the shot horribly wrong himself,
13.
which might have been a game changer.
No hint of a snatch in the back
20.
arm there, even though there's pressure now on every single ball, and that pressure is mounting.
Twenty-one. $28.
Maybe there's a plant there which would stop him having to go into them. Yeah, the bottom two look fairly well lined up. It's one of those, if you're right behind it, it needs to be
29.
just straightened up a fraction. It's not too difficult. If you're not directly behind them, the shot is more awkward to get right. Well, the fact that he didn't go into the bunch, he must really fancy this.
36.
Well, there's two sets of plants potentially there.
37.
Obviously, the big thing here is if he's going to play around the table from the blues, not to hit the green or brown on this shot on the way back up. He's come the other side of the table to make sure. It's perfectly played.
42.
He's played two absolutely cracking positional shots in this break. The red up in bulk to come down for the black to split the reds, and then that effort.
43.
Well, there's plants lined up
48.
from all angles here. The two reds might have gone to the other corner. There's lined up to that one as well. not over the line yet, and that's not perfect on the blue. He rolls the blue in, and he'll need one more red.
Very timely, though, wasn't it, to have a plant available into both of those top pockets. Five half centuries for Dott now.
54.
And a couple of pots away from moving ahead once more.
55.
Yes, Graeme went 4-3 down, but he's regrouped.
62.
Had a little crisis of confidence for a short while. Tom Ford looked stronger of the two, and now this.
63.
Back to the kind of form that got him here in the first place.
$69.
Great shot.
70.
And again, 70 as in the previous frame. Another chance for the century. I don't think he's overly worried either way.
75.
Now what does he do here? Does he knock the yellow out, or does he play him behind it? Not the cannon he was looking for. I think he'll be
83.
happy either way here, whether he gets to the century or not. Save all the good shots for the frame that would take him over the winning line. Wow, what a shot though.
85.
Brilliant.
$88.
Back to his best.
$92.
On the cusp of compiling his first century in this tournament.
Yes, but he has made a barrage of breaks of
97.
70, 80, that sort of thing, all the way through to get here.
Graeme Dott, tenacity and talent rolled into one, and he leads 5-4.
Don't forget to break.
This is illuminating. The last frame, full of thrills and spills, at 18 minutes was the lengthiest of the match so far. Underlines just how fluid it's been. Last weekend at the Tempodrome in Berlin, Dott was beaten 6-4 in the semi-final by Judd Trump. Pressed the world champion hard. A week on, is he going to reach this final with a 6-4 scoreline, or are we going all the way?
That's not a very good shot. He had to miss the yellow. The fact that the black it wouldn't be potable because the red's next to it means it's not the best value in the world going for this red. I mean, getting onto a colour, it's going to take some doing. Yeah, I can understand fully why he didn't go for it. I'm just thinking, Phil, Tom Ford has made it very clear he's been to see a mind coach, someone to really help him on the psychological side of the game. I mean, for this very moment, isn't it? This is the moment when it all has to work. He's got few opportunities in his career better than this. He's only a frame behind to get into a huge ranking tournament final. This is what it's all about. No doubt it's helped him to get this far, but it's the next step, isn't it, that he's looking for. It's a terrific safety shot from Tom. It's top notch.
There's no doubt about it. Since he started working with Sabrina Francis, he's had more calm when it's required, more inner calm.
Well, the line was good, but
Oh,
it's got to be played again at a little bit more pace, I think.
Dott 4-4.
It's going back. I doubt it'll amount to a great deal because, as I say, Graeme has got the line right. What Tom could do is get him in behind the yellow again here. It's glancing off this first red.
Big gesticulation there from Graeme Dott. Gave the impression he'd done something grievous. No damage done.
Well, he's gone thin and played a pretty good shot actually in behind the green.
Just to put what Tom Ford is trying to achieve into perspective, he has been to a world ranking event final before, but it was the 2016 Paul Hunter Classic. In terms of visibility, prestige and prize money, this tournament far exceeds that one.
Played it well, he played it as if he knew he'd get it up onto the blue rather than all the way around the table and back to bulk.
The key message of his mind coach: forget what's happened in frames before. Now, in the past, had he missed a red so badly as he did in the previous frame, that would have stayed in his mind like a squatter who would not be evicted. Now, though, maybe it's washed from his thoughts.
Six. 7.
that is really close position. And he had to play it gently because the red could have got in the way of the black. But it really is close up and personal here, this next shot. I thought originally there might have been a plant onto that left corner as well, but it doesn't seem to be there now. I guess it must have moved when he played that last shot. Those two reds are not in line anymore.
Tom Ford 14. One.
Well, that was a combination of little nudges that saw that red go in. I was just watching that shot from the commentary position. There's no way in the world you could have known about it in advance. And it's given him an advantage.
Graeme Dott 1.
Tom Ford very slow to get out of his chair there. That hurt him, that going in. He's in a lot of trouble now. Now we might get a chance to see this again. Well, I mean, it's hard to predict that's going to happen, isn't it? But it's given Tom a real headache here. Twice across to lay in behind that one red.
Wow, and a miss. Graeme Dott 4.
I think he's got a red on, but how much does he want to play it when he can put Tom Ford back in? Yeah, Tom's coming down to have a look now. He knows he's got to be a little bit careful. That perhaps if he doesn't make contact with the red and the overhits, he might find himself in more trouble because Graeme would have a chance. He didn't like it straight away. Of course, the other problem he's got,
And a miss.
if he changes the angle, he could
Round
slip
off
in
4.
behind the red and then end up leaving it puttable to the right corner. Not sure what that little wipe of the cushion was meant to be for, just to maybe let us all know that it slid off. Or he felt it did as he hit it. Got there, nearly went round the back, but he played it well.
8 penalty points given away, but that's an acceptable trade-off for Ford, I can tell you. He would have settled for that before the process began.
It's the first awkward type of a frame. 18 minutes 20 is the longest of the match. I suppose when tensions rise, there's always a chance that we're going to get a long frame. Or certainly a longer frame.
Both playing at the same pace, 20 seconds per shot. Over the next frame, or possibly two, I'm pretty convinced that will increase. Understandably so.
Yeah, pretty healthy times, aren't they? I mean, a match of this importance. And just underlines the fact that they're both fluent players, including Graeme Dott, who there was some notion years ago after the 2006 World Final that he was a slow player, which I think people got that all wrong.
Well, in that match, there was one frame of 77 minutes. That's one thing. Second thing, he's playing Peter Ebdon. Third thing, the match finished really late because there were only a small number of frames in the afternoon because of TV scheduling. So everything looked as though he was to blame when in fact he wasn't.
It's one of these frames for Graeme Dott. However he wins it, he doesn't care. It's not how, it's how many, and this is the one he needs to be in somebody's final.
Okay, distance between cue ball and object ball, but Dodd's hand is on the table. I think in his mind he's identifying this shot as a potential key to the door to the final. Thump, but another test to come.
It's one of these scenarios, the balls are awkward. You give anything for a break of about 40, 45 here. Set your standards about that high for now.
Just a smattering of late applause from someone in the know. That was
7.
a pressure ball.
Eight. $14. 15.
They call him Wee Dotty, but his heart is big.
$20. $21. $27. $28.
Well, he's very straight on the pink, and that's why there was a bit of a reaction. He's a little disappointed to finish there. He's furious to finish there. Good thing, though, the bolt colours away from their spots. The up and down is not difficult from the blue. And he's been judging these pretty well up until now. And it's also a good shot. He played safe, I think, going on the bottom pair. So he had quite a large margin for error.
$34.
Just gone a bit too far once again. If he'd been perfect on the blue, position on the next one would have been fairly straightforward. Now the cue ball's got to travel a bit. Playing the green. Again, it's a nice shot. Well controlled. Mentioned about a 45 break would be like gold dust.
37.
Crafted at 37, and there's a few more to go on that still. Be mindful of one thing though, should he make a mistake, the balls are pretty good. The black also now, I've just spotted, is available. So a miss might bring Tom Ford back into this frame. Finished nowhere.
38.
Plenty of ways this could have gone right, but it's gone smack in the middle of the table. Hard to keep the break alive now.
Aggravating no man's land.
Yes, Phil, it's not the worst idea to put something safe here. He's not got to keep this break going. What he must ensure is that the mistake wouldn't cost him. I mean, he might take on the yellow or green, perhaps. Putting the blue safe wouldn't be the worst shot in the world. Putting the blue onto a side cushion.
Graeme Dott,
This is
38.
a proper snooker match, and that is a proper snooker match shot. Trying to win the match here. Keep things tight.
Well, that was clear thinking in a pressurised situation and really good execution as well. Blue is close to a cushion. And look where the white is, right behind the green. Excellent from Dott. Good pals, these two. Staying in the same hotel, actually. I heard them chatting in the practice room earlier today. All very amicable, but out there now, it's every man for himself.
I'm not too sure what he can do. It's taking a while on it, and I don't blame him. Over a minute. Now the right-hand side almost swerve on this. How can he get the ball around the table? Hit the wrong red on the way through. Just clipped a red on the way to the one he tried to hit.
If this red goes in with position attached, Tom Ford is entitled to fear the worst. Good attempt, but not quite close enough.
I think you were right though, Phil. If that had gone in, you can think that he would have won the frame of match there. Just a little bit of a lifeline for Tom Ford after that last shot. He's only 29 behind. Just needs one more opportunity. Well, if he played that, it's a very clever shot. Very clever shot to get the blue back into the game. A billiard player would have been proud of that little cannon. I think the easiest red to come up and down is the one on the right, hitting it half ball, taking the cue ball up somewhere in behind the yellow. Gone wrong. What a chance. One that he might not have thought he was ever going to get, in the way this frame was shaping up. It's been a while, hasn't it? Nearly 20 minutes since he potted one. Well, I didn't think he'd miss that. Pressure's getting to both players, it seems. But those three reds up the table, I don't think they're easy to get to. Maybe the left one might just creep by the other one and go. Either way, cue ball's heading right down the table. Didn't go for the pot. Yeah, I mean, he hit it quite badly for him, the way he's been playing.
The cue ball jangling in the jaws. What a bonus. Excellent from Dott. Excellent shot.
He's having a little bit of a crisis here, isn't he, Tom Ford? He's not playing all that many shots in the way that he meant them. That's almost won him the match. He's got 2 reds in, and that's 2 reds that Tom Ford could have done with. He's on the black. It's almost game over, isn't it? What a huge moment that is, and not one that Tom Ford would have liked to have seen again on that replay.
The feeling when the balls stopped rolling for Dott must have been like winning the pools.
Then.
Well, he's 39 in front, so the brown and 1 more red, basically, for the final.
Yes, it's been the frame that's the odd one out. There's been no breaks of any great note here.
14.
But like I said earlier, Graeme Dott just wants to win this frame. He's not too worried how it happens. So this is for the final, this next one. Tom Ford can only tie the frame with reds and blacks and all the colours. Well, he's putting a red at the other end of the table. Can't be bad.
Round of 14.
Graeme Dott there, just a grit of the teeth, I noticed. He knows he's almost there.
Granite.
It's absolutely the right shot under the circumstances. If you don't play those sort of shots now, when is the right occasion? Two in one shot, the double. He also put the black save intentionally.
Graeme Dott 1.
3 snookers required, or 1 snooker and a free ball, maybe. Either way, unlikely.
Foul.
Now impossible. Tom Ford concedes. He's been beaten by his friend Graeme Dott, who is loving life. He's loving being in the final. That was a great performance. Dotty again comes up big.